Alright, shalom, shalom, Martin. This is Brother Mashaba coming back at you with another lesson. First, before I get into it, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruchakudash. Second thing I want to do is give double honors to all the elders and apostles of a great millstone, and salutations to all of you brothers that are pushing the truth with both sincerity and with charity. Alright, so what I wanted to get into is, who's going to be ruling this planet, all right? And who's going to be, under those rulers, all right? So without further ado, let's start with, Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. The stranger shall be joined with them, and it shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now, in that scripture, there's a distinction between scripture between verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 is mainly talking about really talking about Israelite foreigners. All right, basically Jacob who lost their spiritual way. They became as heathens. Not all Israel is Israel. But they came back. All right. Verse 2. All right. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. The house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. He's talking about Esau, Edom, and these heathens. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were. They shall rule over their oppressors. Okay? And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. All right? And what other nation of people, one, all right, the scriptures are only directed and for the Israelites, all right? And I'm about to go into Deuteronomy 28, to go into that hard bondage part, okay? But it says who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Esau, Edom is oppressing us right now, man. We got to pay taxes. If a man and his wife break up under Esau rule, a man got to split 50-50 and give all this, unrighteous, unholy, filthy woman half of his stuff, okay? They have a child. That's a whole nother evil matter, all right? He got to pay child support, and then he's not even allowed to see his own child, okay? And there's just many more stuff, uncountable things that Esau does now. And an infinite amount of things that they were doing during that time of hard bondage, which is, a couple hundred years ago. All right? And to prove that, the Lord is talking about Latinos, Negroes, and Native Americans, let me go into this. All right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. And verse 60. Hold on. Because there's a lot. We'll just start at 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. When you go into Egypt, it's really talking about, well, in this scripture, it's talking about bondage. All right? All right? Remember how later in the scriptures it also references a spiritual Sodom and Egypt? That's America, man. Okay? Context clues. And, we got to realize that the scriptures are All right, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there shall ye be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So yeah, what does that sound like? The triangular slave trade, man, brought into ships. Okay, let me there's a lot. Huh. Um. Yes. Okay. This is it. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. How were we on those ships, man? If you Google right now, triangular slave trade ship conditions, anything. Let me read it again. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. All right, and don't get it wrong, Latinos and Native Americans experience this too, or maybe Native Americans per se. You know, well, they were still some still had to be transported to Babylon. All right, which is Babylon the Great, which is spiritually right now America. Okay, but yeah, man, those were the conditions of those slave ships. Against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right, verse 49. All right, get this. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth. All right, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right, what is America's national animal? Everybody knows this. The bald eagle, man. As swift as the eagle flieth, man. Okay, let me. So, Obadiah 1, I'm gonna start at verse 2. 1, I'm gonna start at verse 1. Obadiah 1 and 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and ambassadors sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small again among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of rock of the rock, the Caucasus Mountains, okay, whose habitation is high, all right, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right, America got to be the most prideful nation on the entire planet. All right, especially just Trump himself. America's is the most prideful planet. I mean, prideful country on the earth right now, man. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. As I said, what is America's national animal? The eagle. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Okay? Watch these scriptures. Read these scriptures. Alright? And you see what it's talking about. These people always trying to scoff at the scriptures, but clearly they don't read, man. Alright? Then shall I bring thee down, say the Lord. Alright, so yeah, man, the Lord is going to bring Esau even down, the so-called white man, the rest of these heathens. Alright? This is Revelation 9 and 10. So like this Revelation 13, verse 9 to 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Esau, Edom, and these heathens, okay? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Who God gave the blessing of the sword? Isaac gave Esau the blessing of what? The sword. Okay? Here is the patience in the faith of the saints. This our patience in our faith to not only get saved by the Lord, salvation, get that kingdom, but also have Esau, Edom, and these heathens under our foot. Okay? Rebuilding what they took from us. Alright? So, yeah, man. That's really all I wanted to get into with this lesson. You know, Esau, Edom, and these heathens gonna go into captivity. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, you know, Amalek, Ishmael, Ammon, Moab. You know, all of them and more. You know, there's other than heathens nations I didn't name, but yeah, man, y'all gonna get judged and sent to slavery. But that's really all I want to get into with this lesson. So with that, I want to give all the honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Second thing I want to do is give double honors to all the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and the salutation to all of you brothers that are pushing this truth with both sincerity and with charity. Shalom, wa kwam yasharala, wa abba. Stay faithful, Akim.